Hi everyone, welcome back to Creative Crafted Life. This is Melanie, and today we're going to use up some scraps and make a Christmas card, and we're going to let dye do most of the work. So I had been playing around with this kit, or this paper pack from My Mind's Eye. It's called Yuletide. It was from 2019, so maybe it is still hanging around out there. I did purchase this at Tuesday morning, so it might be a little bit hard to find, but that's not really the point. The point is more that we're going to be using scraps to make this card. The die we're going to use is this Joy die from Spellbinders. The main die has some holly and poinsettias and pine boughs and stuff decorating around or surrounding the word joy. The die also cuts out the letters separately, and then there are some smaller pieces to help add some dimension. This Merry Christmas doesn't belong. That's actually a Lawn Fawn die, but I just store them together. Okay, so that's the die we're going to use, and actually that's the only tool we're going to use besides, of course, the Big Shot. I have some scraps here. I have some leftover green paper, which I thought would make a good base. Some red for the poinsettia, and I have some of this red foil. This was from Tonic Studios, and I thought that would be kind of fun for some of the berries. And I have some green foil, which is also from Tonic Studios. So let's pull out a card base. This is just a standard A2 size card, which is you take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, you cut it in half at 5.5, and then you score at 4.25, and you have a side folding card. So we will be doing a lot of die cutting, and I'm going to get my Big Shot and we'll position this all out and cut out the pieces that we need. I am a big believer in running things through the machine once if possible, or rather in as many passes as possible. So I'm going to take the main piece here without the letters, and I'm going to position that on top of this green scrap. I'm also going to take this foil piece, and I think we're just going to trim this so that it'll fit, and we're going to lay down the letters. I am not using my magnetic platform, but if you have one, you definitely can use it. I just find it gets a little tricky when you have a lot of pieces. The magnets are not over the whole base, they're just strategically positioned, and sometimes my dies gravitate, so sometimes I find it just easier just to use my regular platform. You can also use some washi tape to hold things down if that's a concern for you. For me, it's not so much a concern, so I'm just gonna lay out what I've got here and we're gonna go from there. Now I do need 4 of these flowers, so we will have to run this through multiple times, but at least on this first pass we will get what we need. We also will need 2 of these, the leaves, so I'm just going to lay them down here as well, and then we still got a little bit of space left on the platform to add some berries. There is also a die for the branches, but I'm just going to keep it super simple and leave those as is. So let's apply the top plate and run this through. Now that we've cut that, we're going to pull off the pieces we don't need, and we'll run this through a few more times for another set of leaves and 4 more flowers. I'm just going to do that off camera, and I'll be back to show you all the pieces that have been cut out, and we'll get the card put together. Okay, so like I said, I'm not cutting out the branches, I'm just going to leave them green. I did cut out 4 of the leaves and 4 of the poinsettias, and this is the base of the image, and you'll see here that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 flowers, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves. So those are the ones that we're going to add some dimension behind and pop on top of this. Now, I did find that these little berries are really super tiny, and they're really easy to get lost. So I tried to keep them in the die as long as possible. I did have a few that came out, and they are in the bottom of this bowl, but you can see how teeny tiny they are. So those we're going to put on last as finishing touches. So the very first thing we're going to do is just apply some liquid glue and get this affixed, and I'm just going to place it right smack dab in the center of the card front. So let me go and add some glue and show you how that looks. I am using Scotch Quick Dry. I don't know the exact name of it now. Scotch Create Quick Dry or something like that. So this will lay down really quick and affix. I did find that I liked putting the leaves on first. If you look at the way this is designed, I don't really want the leaf stem to poke above the joy. So I am going to affix the leaves first. Now I don't mind if the flower goes above the letter, I just don't want the leaves. So we're gonna do the leaves next, then we're gonna put on the letters, and then we're gonna put on the poinsettias. For the leaves, I am using some foam tape, and I have these itty bitty square foam pieces, and I'm going to cut them in half. So I'm either being very frugal. No, actually, it's just the leaves are not that big. So through the wonderful technology of video editing, you will see that I now have 2 little pieces of foam tape on there, which allows me to really easily add these to the focal image of this card. And I'll show you here what I meant by the leaves projecting out. See how they extend into the letter? And I think it would just look really messy over top. So by putting these down first, I can add the letters over top and you're not even going to see them. Okay, so the letters are next, and we're just going to affix them. They do have an outline, so we just want to center that image in here and give it a little push. So I'm going to do the 2 easy letters first, which to me are the J and the Y. It's just a matter of getting it centered, being happy with it, and giving it a little push. And the O's a little trickier. And I'm not going to push down too hard on these in case I don't get it positioned where I need it to. Some of it's also the angle. Okay, so now we've got the joy on there. It's just a matter now of adding the poinsettias. And these are not symmetrical. So it does mean that you kind of have to play around until you get them in the right position. Okay, so that's with the poinsettias. It's starting to really come together. So now let's pop out the berries and get those added. I will be using some Scotch Quick Dry along with my jewel picker to hopefully be able to pick these up. Like I said, they are really itty bitty. Hopefully won't have too many problems with them. Okay, so that's how it's looking. And the finishing touches, I am going to use some of this Gold Glitz Dazzling Details. This is from Stampin' Up! Way back in the day, but you can get glitter glue from just about anyone nowadays. For sure from Tonic Studios, I believe, as well as from Stickles. And all I'm going to do here is just add some glue to the centers of the poinsettias. And that, my friends, is as easy as it gets. I think this looks like a really elegant card, and really it didn't take much to put it together. We just used some scraps and let the die do all the work. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're inspired to look at your dies that maybe you can quickly convert into a card. If so, leave me the name below. I'm interested to see what you come up with, and maybe it's something I have in my stash. And until next time, happy crafting.